when you think about it, even eBay really is a product search engine, right? I mean, almost every time I go to eBay, the first thing I do is search, right? I treat eBay almost the same way I would treat a Google, a Yahoo, or an MSN. I don't navigate through eBay in that tree structure. I don't start with, computers, laptop computers, Dell laptop computers, and then drill down that way. I'll just use that search box on eBay just the same way that I do in a search engine. So there's a lot of sort of convergence going on with respect to where are people engaging in search. You could say the same thing perhaps even about Amazon, because now they even have merchants other than Amazon that exist within the Amazon marketplace. So the lines between what is a search engine and what is a shopping portal and what is a shopping engine, they're sort of blurring a little bit. There are other vertical portals as well, for a variety of different industry verticals. So lawyers.com, TravelZoo, KPasa, Realtor. These are all vertical portals that relate to specific industry niches. So most of these vertical portals fall into one of two camps. Either they're trying to establish a brand of their own, the way particularly the shopping portals are, where basically you learn about them, you have a great user experience, and then you come back and you continue to come back to that vertical portal directly without having found them in another search engine. And then others basically recognize that the number of times per year or per lifetime that you're going to use that vertical portal are actually very low, but they're hoping that somehow either through search marketing or through other media that you'll prefer to use that instead of the regular search engine. So Realtor.com, people buy houses not that frequently, so they probably wouldn't be using a real estate related search engine very often. Whereas the Thomas Register of Manufacturers, people who are specifying parts for industrial equipment may use that all the time. So they all have sort of different strategies with respect to how sticky they want their portal to be to a particular user audience, or whether it's a one-time use or a multi-time use. TravelZoo would love people to start coming to TravelZoo all the time to find fares or find travel deals. The other element of search marketing that a lot of people forget to take into account is local search or internet yellow pages. A lot of search marketing has what we call local intent. And what that means is the person's actually looking to solve that problem that they have locally. So they may not be as interested in a national provider of that product or service. They actually want to go and solve that problem locally. And there are a couple of places that you can tap into that audience that has a very specific local intent. In addition to, of course, the major portals, Super Pages not only sells pay-per-click advertising on Super Pages itself, but they also syndicate to a variety of other places, including some portals. And City Search also is another big source of localized traffic. So whether you're a local marketer or a national marketer, sometimes doing localized search advertising can be very powerful because you can actually sway the person's intent. So even though they are thinking of going to a store to buy a cell phone, you can actually convince them through copy that with free shipping and no tax, maybe they should consider buying one online. Great selection or something like that. Go ahead.
Apologies for the ignorance, but I direct the internet marketing for a college downtown here in Metropolitan College of New York. And as we engage more in search engine marketing, I was wondering how local are the search engines automatically? If you don't go to a local search, are they at all local or not? For instance, if someone looks for, MBA in media, one of the programs you offer, how local are the results going to be?
The question was how local do the search engines get by default versus when someone expresses a local intent. So if somebody types in MBA versus somebody types in New York MBA, in the case of New York MBA, they've expressed the local intent to the search engines. In the case of MBA, they haven't expressed the local intent. The engines are becoming better at intuiting whether there's local intent in there, right? So some of them, actually, if you were to type in plumber, will ask you whether or not you want to find a local plumber, because they've got your user ID cookied, so they know your Yahoo user ID, and so they'll sort of volunteer to give you local results for that. In other cases, you can target local searchers through their paid search programs. So, for example, both Yahoo and Google, and soon MSN with the launch of their new ad center in October, have the ability to target at different levels of geographic specificity. So Google, for example, you could do a DMA, the designated marketing area, which is a commonly used marketing zone, or you could use a radius from a particular zip code, or you could actually in Google use a polygon. You can actually draw on a map exactly where you want to hit. Now, how accurate it is another question altogether. But the point there is really that more and more tools, that the engines are recognizing that by providing the ability for marketers to target more specifically, particularly within the paid search environment, that will be a win-win, right? Because if they can provide a better ability for you to target as a marketer, then your links will be more relevant to the searcher. So the searcher will be more likely to click on them, and they only make money when people click on them. So it becomes one of these circular, arguments. So local is getting continuously hotter, and I still think the major portals have an advantage there. They're adding functionality to those local tabs. So. Yeah, well, the search engines aren't stupid. They start with the easy stuff, right? The easy stuff is national, and there's hundreds of millions more people that are searching nationally, many more marketers marketing nationally than marketing locally, right? So given a fixed sales force and a fixed marketing budget, they start with the low-hanging fruit, and now they're getting to the fact that the local market is particularly important, and it becomes a win-win scenario. Go ahead.
When MSN rolls out in October, Pay Center, is going to be open to the public?
Not immediately. What MSN is doing with the Ad Center is this is the first time they built their own system. They used to, they had a rudimentary system called SFS, or featured listings, which only large marketers with 10,000 a month budgets and higher could buy. What they wanted to do is create more of a self-serve auction model, but they don't want to overload themselves right out of the gate. So what they're doing is initially they're rolling all their old advertisers into the system, along with a handful of new advertisers that have sort of been self-selected by their sales team, and they'll turn it on at 25% of traffic because they want to make sure it doesn't break. So they'll basically take 25% of the people searching on MSN, and they'll serve them the new system, right, the new ad results. As they do that, as they ramp it up from 25% to 100%, they'll pass a certain milestone, and I know the date, but I can't share it because I'm under NDA, but there will come a date where it will become open to anybody to do self-sign-up, right? So they'll have the ability for you to put your credit card in or whatever you want. But that won't be on October 18th, which is slated as the live date for that first 25% of traffic. I talk about it a little bit more tomorrow in particular because that's tomorrow's paid search day. But what's going to be really cool about Ad Center is that they'll actually allow marketers to not only bid on keywords in different match types the same way that you can on Google and Yahoo and geographies, but they'll also allow you to do bid boosting against particular demographics, being age and gender. So if you know that for your particular target market you would be willing to pay more for a particular age or gender combination, you can basically set one bid price for people either that that they don't know about, because they don't have age and gender information on everybody, but they do on a bunch of people who've opted in through using Hotmail or Messenger. So for those people that they do have a profile on, if you're willing to pay a little bit more to reach those people, you can. But we'll talk about that a little more tomorrow.
One more
Yep.
question. So I get a lot of traffic through MSN, so I won't be visible now in October.
Are you an SFS advertiser now?
No. Well, through Google. I mean, whatever I pay through Google, doesn't that filter through MSN?
No, Yahoo is the backfill for MSN. Well, what's going to happen is it's actually a little complicated. I guess I get into it today, but right now the way it works is if you search on MSN and you're an MSN SFS advertiser and you're also a Yahoo Search or Overture advertiser, it used to be called Overture, they dedupe, right? So they don't want to serve you twice. So what they do is they'll only serve you the MSN ad and they won't serve the Yahoo ad. However, when they make the switch over in October, what's going to happen is it's going to become either an all MSN or all Yahoo. So they won't be deduping anymore, right? Because they'll 25% of the people will get 100% MSN results. 75% of the people will get 100% Yahoo results. So of the paid side. So there'll be a temporary uptick in the number of click-throughs that you would get compared to what you used to get through Yahoo from MSN, because as they no longer dedupe, essentially now they'll just use the stuff, it looked almost identical to what you see in Yahoo. So the top sponsored links in Yahoo will now just be showing up in 75% of the time on MSN. But as they turn that volume knob from 25% to 100%, that'll end up getting shut down, so eventually you won't see any Yahoo, and no searchers will see any Yahoo in MSN. They'll all see 100% MSN. So by the time they reach 100%, my guess is they will have opened it up to the public, right? So sometime between 25 and 100%, as they turn the volume knob up, they'll get to the point where they feel like they can handle the influx of the tens or potentially hundreds of thousands of advertisers who will want to go in there on a self-service basis. But they're concerned about advertiser experience, right? They don't want to not have the staff there to handle all the questions, to handle tech support, etc. So if they were just to turn it on for everybody right away, no one would get a good experience, right? Everybody would be pissed. So instead, they're sort of like, well, let's phase it in and then turn it on as we go.